Hello dear students, this is Kanza, your English teacher, and today we are going to study the first poem of your literature book, First Flight, and the poem is Dust of Snow by Robert Frost. Robert Lee Frost. Well, before entering deep into this poem, I would like to ask you a couple of questions. What do you do when you are sad? What do you do when you are in a bad mood? What do you do when you are in a gloomy mood? What do you do when you are upset? What do you do to freshen up your mind? Yes, these questions are really closely connected to your poem, and before starting this poem, just think over these questions and try to answer these questions to yourself. Okay, well, as we can see, the title of the poem, Dust of Snow. Dust means particles of snow. Well, if you ask me, like in this scorching heat, the word snow itself, just imagine yourself, you are all covered with snow, having fun, playing with snow. It really freshens up your mind, right? It really gives you a good thinking, right? It really makes you happy when you feel like that. Okay, so it all depends that how you are thinking. Before moving ahead to the poem, I would like to put a small quote before you by John Milton, a very famous poet. The mind is its own place. The mind is its own place and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. So what does this mean? This means that your mind, your thinking can make a good situation into a bad situation and a bad situation into a good one. So it all depends upon your thinking, that what is your thinking, how you are thinking, how you are taking the things, the way you are thinking, it matters all. Yes, this quote is also really closely connected to the poem. That is why I have discussed this quote before starting the poem. Well, before exactly starting the reading the lines of the poem, let me tell you that it is a very short poem. Though it is a short poem just of 8 lines, but it is very deep in sense. So as you know that it is by Robert Frost. Robert Lee Frost, you already know him. You have gone through his poem in 9th standard also, The Road Not Taken. You are very well know him. He is an American poet, a nature poet. He is known for his realistic depiction of rural life and his command of American colloquial speech. Well, he uses very simple language so that it may reach the hearts of common people. It is to reach the maximum number of people. And he is the only poet who won 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. So he is the only poet. Okay. Well, Dust of Snow, as I told you that Robert Lee Frost, he writes in very simple language. So Dust of Snow is a simple poem. It is just of 8 lines and there are 2 stanzas, 4 lines in each stanza. Each of the two stanzas in the poem follow the same rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme is also very simple. It is just A, B, A, B. And Dust of Snow is a very simple and is a poem which is very simple in its structure. But yet it is very poignant in content. It is very deep in content. So we are really going to enjoy this poem. We are going to just go deep into this poem. Now let's move on to the poem. Well, in the stanza 1, I would like to read it for you. The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. So see how simple it is. This poem, it begins out of nowhere. As you can see that the poem is the way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. There is no background there is no background of the poem. There is no detail given to us what happened that day or what was he doing in the snow. Where was he exactly standing? We just understand from the first stanza that the poet was understanding under a hemlock tree, and a crow was just sitting on one of the branches of a hemlock tree, and the crow makes some movement, and that movement is also not specified that what sort of movement the crow did. Only this much is given that a man was standing, the narrator was standing, Robert Lee Frost was standing under a hemlock tree, and let me tell you that hemlock tree, it's a poisonous tree with white small flowers. It is quite similar to a Christmas tree, but it is not same, it is just similar, it's different one. It is a poisonous tree again, I'm telling you, and it is a symbol of sadness, it's a symbol of despair. It's not a symbol of happiness, right? Its branches are like, it is not a Christmas tree, its branches are a bit weaker in comparison to, softer and weaker in comparison to the Christmas tree. It is not a Christmas tree, it's a hemlock tree, and hemlock tree is a symbol of sadness. And as you can see that there is crow in the first line. There is no beautiful bird, there is no skylark, there is no nightingale. Rather, there is the description of a crow. And again, crow is not a good symbol. As you think of a crow, you think of something bad. You do not think of beautiful things. It's a bad omen. So crow as well as the hemlock tree, they both are the symbol of sadness, bad luck, something like that. So in this first stanza, the way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. The poet is describing that he was just standing under a hemlock tree. He was very sad, he was in a bad mood, he was having a bad day, but no background is given that why he was sad, why he was standing over there, why it was a bad day for him. But all of a sudden what happened, that crow, it shook, it made some movement. That movement is also not mentioned, that what sort of movement it did. It is just given that it made some movement, maybe it moved its wings or flew off or what it did. No, nothing is clear. But something happened because of its movement. Now what happened, that is given in the next stanza. Let's see. In the second stanza, it is given, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. So he is saying that rued means he had regretted. So here it is given that that by the movement what happened? Snow fell on him, and that when snow fell on him, his mood changed. He became happy. He was not having a good day. He was having a bad day. He was having a bad time. His mood changed. He became happy, and he saved his rest of the day. His rest of the day became good. So here we can see that in the second stanza, the poet says that this small incident has made his mood lighten up. Okay, he has his mood has become light up. He is no more sad. He is no more in despair. He is no more in bad mood. He is no more sad. So through the words of the poet, we can understand that the poet was having a bad day. He was not having a good day, and the way the crow shook the snow to the poet's body, the crow made his day. Okay, so this small incident made his day. So now you understood that how I related the quote that your mind can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven. See, it is all on your thinking. How you are thinking, how you are taking things, it all depends on that. Now let's see the poetic devices used in this poem. As I told you in the start only, that the rhyme scheme of the poem is very simple. It is just A, B, A, B. Now, you must have noticed that there are no punctuation signs. There are no commas, nothing is there. Only there is one single full stop at the end of the poem. Means the whole, both the stanzas of the poem are just a single sentence. Both the stanzas means without any punctuation mark. So this is called enjambment. Okay, the continuation of a sentence without a pause beyond the end of a line, couplet or stanza. That is called enjambment, and here it is used because there is no comma, no full stop, only there is one full stop at the end of the 8th line, at the end of the second stanza. Now you can see that there is one more poetic device, that is assonance. Now what is assonance? Or you can say it's a vowel rhyme. See, when there is a repetition of vowel sound across a line of a verse, that is called assonance. As you can see that there is O sound. Okay, shook down on me. So O is repeated, O sound is repeated, so it is assonance. Then there is one more poetic device, that is alliteration. Well, beta, alliteration is the repetition of the same consonant sounds at the beginning of the words. That is alliteration. Okay, here we can see has given my heart. Each sound is repeated. Okay, so it is alliteration. Now let's see critical analysis of the poem. See, as I told you that there are things which display or which disclose the gloomy mood. Okay, so creation of gloomy mood in the beginning. There is a creation of gloomy mood in the beginning. For example, like hemlock tree, crow. So, and plus there is a use of natural symbols. Natural symbols like crow, hemlock tree. These two are negative symbols to create the gloomy atmosphere. And snow, symbol of joy, symbol of happiness. So negative becomes positive. Negativity turns into positivity. Okay, sad sadness turns into happiness. Okay, now let's see what is the message of the poem. Here Robert Lee Frost, through this poem, Dust of Snow, tries to make us understand that every bad situation has something positive in it. Instead of being sad for the situation, we should try to find the positivity in it. So it is, as I told you in the beginning, that it is all from here, the way you are thinking, it all depends upon your thinking. Okay, so Robert Lee Frost, he has also said that if it is it all depends upon your thinking, that you can change a sad situation, a bad situation, into a good one. Okay, so that's all in this poem. Thank you. Have a great day.